Hello everyone, and welcome back for some more Stellaris Bromance, this time in version 2.0 in the Apocalypse DLC. My name is Mal, and I am once again joined by Mickey, Sabouts, and Vanguard, and our new buddy, who's joined us for this, Commissar Roach, who easily has the coolest name out of the bunch. How is everybody?
Good. Good.
All right, so Roach, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
He wasn't expecting this.
I am a person, yes.
Okay. You're not a mineral or a vegetable. No, I was just messing with you.
Maybe
No,
an
but for those of you that maybe not familiar with Roach, he too is a strategy player. He plays a lot of Stellaris. He also plays, I would say, like thinking man role-playing games as
we
well.
Could say that, yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
he's got a similarly themed channel, so you should check him out when you get a chance. Of course, links for everybody will be below the description of the video. Okay, so we're really excited to be playing Stellaris 2.0. The game has, I think we can basically agree, I think, that they might as well have just launched Stellaris today. It's like a completely different game.
I know, it's a huge difference.
Yeah, it's Stellaris 2, not 2.0.
I don't think a single mechanic's
Yeah.
the same. It's
Right.
Yeah, more or less 80 to 90% of the game is another game now.
And we can't talk about we can't do a formal review. We can't say how much we like it. We're not allowed to do that right yet.
I will point out they added border boundaries. That makes me happy.
Yeah, they had
yeah,
so many good,
I mean,
so
typically,
many quality of
we could
life
say
changes.
on a scale of 1 to 10 how much we've enjoyed the game, and that's not a review. That's just
That's
us
true.
applying a numerical
That's true.
value to our
That's
enjoyment.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
10.
Well, what do you guys think so far? As far
Pirate
as
sucks.
enjoyment level.
Enjoyment level 1 to 10?
Yeah.
Compared to before, or just an overall
yeah.
score?
Yeah. Compared to before.
I'll
Okay,
give it an 8.
yeah, if
Yeah,
before...
8.5.
8.5. Okay, this is us not reviewing it, just in case
Yeah, no, this
anybody
is just
from
me. I always
this is-
apply numerical values to enjoyment.
Yeah,
to your enjoyment.
before I guess it was a 7, now it's a 9.5 for me.
Nice.
Oh, okay. All right. So what
So,
we'll
Mal,
do here...
what is everything set up as? Our galaxy?
Yeah. So
choke points?
we'll go through that, and then since Apocalypse, not only is the game changed in 2.0, which is essentially the free update, then Apocalypse, which is an additional DLC that's releasing at the same time, adds in like world killers and additional
It has the Titans.
all kinds of stuff. Yeah, Titan ships and all kinds of things that you don't have to get, but it's pretty cool. So let's go through our setup, and then we'll jump in the game, and then as we go, we'll be exploring everything that's different in 2.0, because this is a great time for you to be playing Stellaris, because you basically didn't miss anything. Like, if you missed the first party, you can come to this one, and you'll feel welcome, because it's a new party.
Yeah,
You
it's
can
a
meet
new
everybody
game.
at once. It's a new game.
It's a new game.
All right, so we're going to do huge galaxy size, so 1,000 stars. We're going to do spiral, 4 arms, 15 AI players. We got 2 fallen empires. We've got 3 marauder empires. This is a new mechanic.
Pirates.
Yeah, they're actually like mercenaries, though, right?
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
you can even hire them at a certain point, which is kind of cool. But this is a new, also the marauders tie into the new mid game, right? They can
Yes.
they can
yeah.
form like a whatever. One becomes the Khan, and they all group up and try to smash everybody's face. It's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah,
Like a mongrel invasion in CK.
Yes,
That's the best way to describe it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Tech tradition cost, default, habitable worlds, primitive civilizations, all default. Crisis strength, we're doing at 0.75 because we are playing on very hard difficulty, so we actually want to have at least a fighting chance. Now, let's be clear about this. We'll just hopefully have a fighting chance.
Yeah, we don't want the end game to actually end the game.
Yeah, it's more...
Just continue playing end game.
Which happened in every series before
Yeah.
this one.
I want
did.
to say that 0.75 is still more likely that it's going to end the game, but
Probably.
we have a chance. That's the point.
Right. Yeah. It's
As long as we can recognize the end game crisis.
yeah,
What? Yeah. It's like to those that are about to die, we salute you. Yes.
yeah.
So mid-game start is going to be 2350. In-game start will be 2500. And then you can see here, very difficult. Advanced neighbors are off. We'll be clustered together. And then hyperlane density, we did some tests. And I do want to mention thank you to Paradox Studio, who gave us all a couple days of early access to get familiar with 2.0. So thank you very much to the dev team for that. And we've done some experiments. They are awesome. We've done some experiments, and we think 0.75 is the best mix for hyperlink density. Somebody real quick want to explain that to the folks why?
Yeah, basically because you have a limited number of strongholds, that's star bases, and it's a new system, and you can choke point better if you do that, and everything we ever asked on our previous series, they just listen, and it's here now. You can do a defensive war using star bases, and they have a very huge battle power, so you can defeat a twice as strong enemy as you are just by holding them off on a star base. That's why we are doing low density hyperlanes, so it's more viable to choke point everything.
So yeah, it makes the galaxy more structured and
yes,
more like terrain and less like a web.
Yeah,
it's actually we should also go over the fact that it's the whole FTL system has been changed since the last.
Basically, there's only hyperdrives now. The jump drives and warp drives are no more. That includes jump drives. Jump drives can only do hyperlane now. They just have a very low cooldown.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's everything we've wanted, because we've always turned on hyperlanes in our playthroughs, but we've never been able to really properly make defenses work, even though we've always tried to set up fortresses and everything in different systems and create choke points. It never worked like we wanted it to, but now
you can.
It's going to.
Yeah, just for guys that are not understanding everything we're saying, Starbase, there are 4 levels of Starbase. The last one is a Citadel. It can hold up to 26 or 28 defensive platforms. I don't remember exactly the number, but and those 28. Okay, so 28 platforms, and every single platform counts more or less like a battleship. So, and the star base itself is way more powerful than a Titan it is. So it's around 50k fleet power, and they also reduce the fleet size for everything else. So 50k battle power now, it's more or less 200k in the old game. So they can hold
you can't do the massive fleets anymore. You have
the death stacks have been reduced.
They changed everything. So it's a new game, as we said.
You should probably all just, if you don't know what we're talking about, just go and read the dev diaries, because
exactly,
it's highly documented.
Which we'll link that too, probably.
You're gonna want to read it, because it's literally a whole.
But we're gonna the whole point though is that we are going to cover the 2.0 changes as we go through, and that'll be a huge part of this particular playthrough. Will be us spending the time exploring the game alongside of all of you to make sure that what we have learned so far, that we're sharing that with you.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, let's go ahead and jump in, and then we'll talk on the other side. Okay?
Hold on.
All right.
We forgot to say something. We changed the mid-game start year and the end-game start year by 50 years to the mid-game and 100 years more to the end-game. That's because we're playing on very hard. It's going to buy us more time to have a fighting chance against the end-game crisis. One way you can defeat the end-game crisis on extra hard difficulties is lowering the strength or increasing the time you have, so you can pick up the technology with the insane or very hard AI, so you have a fighting chance. You have the time you need to build a strong enough fleet to have a chance to defeat the endgame crisis.
And just for point of reference, if I remember correctly, very hard means that they're getting 75% of all resources more than us, and on insane, it's double. It's either double or triple the resources.
Yeah, it's double.
So it's significant. All right, so we will catch you on the other side. We'll see you in game in just a second. Okay, folks, here we go. So some of you might have heard like our behind the scenes version, which you can hear on Roach's channel. Okay, so what we have here is our spiral galaxy that we told you we were going to set up. And we have already talked through it. We're all kind of roughly in this area down here, not too far from this Crossroads Nebula, which is good. And we're looking at the layout of the hyperlanes, and I would say the initial impression is they look favorable-ish.
Yeah. I like all the choke points. You see that one hyperlane on the west side of the galaxy? Yeah. It's like this one massive hyperlane.
Yeah, that's like, what the heck,
wow.
Right?
That's kind of funny.
That is one long jump.
Oh wow, yeah, no, wow, what the hell?
I'm very close to that.
It traverses like 6 systems.
Yeah. That's cool though. That's a good one to cut off. It cuts off that whole outside.
Is that a space freeway they made?
Yeah, pretty much. Is it a
autobahn?
Is it a toll road on that?
Is it a hyper lane? Oh, okay. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's do our initial research and stuff. Let's see. Oh, actually, we should probably talk a little bit about our government types too. I'm just gonna real quick show people my cool
befittingly
mantis shrimp.
I'm a military commissariat.
Ooh.
I can't believe you didn't take the roach. Honestly.
Oh, I already have. I've already done a series as the Roachikins. If anybody wants to, everybody from basically who's not a part of my audience, I did a series as the Roachkins. They're the Roachkin quarantine zone. Because roaches don't like to be touched and they clean themselves. They don't like to have anything that's not a roach near them. So it's just this empire that's just a quarantine. Nobody in, nobody out.
Nice.
And the ground troops just have flamethrowers. It's just a lot of flamethrowers.
Just purify.
Yep, giant 8-foot tall cockroach with carapace an inch thick and a flamethrower. Go to sleep at that at night.
What else would you need, honestly? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's see. How's everybody's initial setup? You feeling okay with it?
Yeah, I like my setup a lot actually. I'm pretty happy with where I started. There's some pretty decent choke points around me. Actually, a lot of really good choke points.
So one of the first things that I think is probably the biggest change in the early game is that science ships have a whole lot of importance. Actually, they pretty much always do now, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're the
but your regular ships you could break up like your first couple of vets and send them out to kind of get some cursory information about the area. You can't even travel to another area until a science ship has cleared the way. So they have
a new thing, explore now.
Yeah, they can explore and they can survey. Survey is the old job and explore. They need to explore the system before anything can move to that system. If you have not explored that system, you cannot jump there, period.
Yep.
Right,
that's interesting.
Right. And then I'm pulling down the more menu just to show people there are some changes here. So you've got planets and sections, you've got policies and edicts, factions, and then there's a new function called claims, which once we get closer into some warfare, we'll go about that, and we'll talk about that more in depth then. But
functions close to EU4's claiming system and things like that.
Yeah.
Just kind of you're telling the galaxy that you have a claim on that system, which means you can press it in a war. Whereas if you don't, you can't, or at least it's more expensive, right?
And yeah, the way that you do claims and the way that you expand your territory just through the exploration process is, I think, more. You actually spend your influence stat more frequently, and I think on more important things than you did in the past. Like it just makes more sense.
Anything that's a monthly tick on influence has essentially been knocked out of the running, because all of your outposts and things like that used to be a drain on it are gone.
Right.
And also any like leadership, like your generals or governors, they just cost energy now. They don't cost influence. So like all those things. So a lot of the original things you spent influence on are gone, and it's been basically transferred to a new thing that you can use.
Yeah, they completely changed everything about that.
Yeah,
I mean, right now there's no point on building a second science ship. There's no point on dividing the initial Corvette fleet to explore because it's not working anymore. You cannot build a second science ship because you need 200 energy to hire a new scientist. Scientists are now hired by actually leaders in general. I hired based on energy, not on influence anymore. So influence is just used to expand your empire and on edicts, nothing more. So
which is nice though, because it makes edicts a lot more important, useful.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, just now I pick up the map the stars right off the bat because it makes my exploration very fast compared to
that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah,
already done
map the stars. Boom, done. And then there's a new function here under this mini system, which is the fleet manager. And the fleet manager is super cool once you understand it. And I'm not that bright, so maybe it took me longer than maybe it will some of you, but it took me a little bit to figure out how to use it properly. But we will go over this again as we get more into it. But essentially you can set up your fleets, and then with a click of a button, you'll be able to either retrofit them, or there's a new function called reinforce. So you can you can finish a battle and then do one click, and all of your shipyards will go to work building them and send them straight to them.
Yeah,
which
is awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah. You don't have to use this pop out either, because
no, you don't.
The fleet, it's actually accessible now. There's the reinforce function, which is right next to the split fleet function now.
Basically, you build a template for your fleet, and if you lose any ships, you just click reinforce, and they're going to be automatically built on the closest shipyard and sent to your fleet.
Yeah, that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah,
they did that.
They just hit the spot with this one. It's way easier to manage your fleets now. So
one of the other things that's new, folks, and is very different, and even after playing for 12 or 15 hours, forget, is that now your military production and your civilian production are separate. So your civilian production, if you click on your planet, any planet, you will have a spaceport automatically, and it can build a construction ship, a science ship, or a colony ship. That's all it does. Now, over here on the outlier bar, you see that we have a shipyard. You start with 1. Now, a shipyard is just a type of starport. Starport is the first upgrade. You get an outpost, and then the first upgrade to an outpost is a starport. Frontier outposts are no more. And you can see here we have a module section and we have a building section. The module section, right now you can see we have 1 shipyard, and then we have an open module where we could put something else. Likewise, on buildings, we could swap out crew quarters for something else, and we'll be doing that as we go along. It is now possible to equip multiple shipyards on one structure and actually simultaneously build 2, 3, 4 ships, whatever you want, depending on the size that's predicated on that particular station.
Fairly certain it also gives you a speed bonus on the build time.
It does.
Yes, and also there's one little thing. On wars, your starports are not going to be destroyed anymore. If you conquer them via wars, they're going to stay there, and if you lose the war, they're just going to be... the new owner is going to have them the way you left them behind. Well, all that can be destroyed is defenses.
Is the defenses, the defenses will be lost.
But the starbase is
from EU4.
Yeah, so even if you lost a war, you're not going to have to build the starports, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. There's no more. You just build your starport and it's yours until you lose it. But it cannot be destroyed anymore. That's a very good change again.
Can the components not be sold?
No, they just can be scrapped. I mean, if you
swapped,
and you don't
you
can
get
still
anything. Take over an enemy starport, scrap everything, leave it as trash.
No.
There's no reason to. It only transfers to your control after you win the war system.
If you have an unrestricted war and you have a planet killer, every time you control a system, that system is yours. So if you do that, you're hurting yourself.
All right, I'm gonna unpause. What do we think? Just put it on fast for now.
Yeah. Fast.
Okay. Early game's always pretty slow. So
we'll get started here. And that's something else we mentioned up front too, is that the pace of the game overall is different. It is slower. So don't expect us to immediately jump into wars. As a matter of fact, we kind of have a 5-point plan, and the first point is we need to get to each other as soon as possible. Secondly, we need to identify where the choke points are. Third, we need to fortify said points. Fourth, we need to research and prepare. And then 5, we'll start looking for outliers or weak empires to take out. We're going to have to take small bites. The gameplay is very, very different than it was before. It honestly is a new game.
It's so different that I went from powerhouse player to losing the pirates in my first 2.0 game.
Oh, pirates have been made assholes now.
Yeah,
they never stop.
Yeah, I got completely wiped by pirates. Yeah. I mean, just wiped. It caught me off guard. And I didn't even expand properly, so
There's another thing, they level up. We haven't said it yet. Is the way that influence and your borders now expand has been completely changed. It's not based on your population change. Or anything like that, or outposts. You have to build an outpost in a system to claim that system. So there's no more like jumping spiral arms that you can't actually get to. Yep. It's all you have to be there. You have to set it up and actually have a claim in the system to claim that system.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
if you guys are
quite a bit.
If you guys are familiar with EVE Online, it's exactly how EVE Online works. To give somebody comparison, if you have an outpost in the system, that system is yours. Period.
As somebody who has 800 hours in EVE Online, I totally know what you're saying.
yeah, that's why I'm mentioning. It's the only other game I know that uses the same system, and it's a great system. They nailed everything in this expansion. Complete. Oh, and also you were talking about the pirates before. If there are no unclaimed systems, if everything is controlled, the pirates are gone. Okay, from the
it's like barbarians in Civilization. If you actually have visibility over the area, a pirate can't spawn.
No, that's not true. If you have visibility, they can spawn. If you control
what I mean is, if you control it, even a regular outpost is enough.
Yeah, exactly. If there are no systems in the galaxy that have no outposts, the pirates cannot spawn anymore. Period.
I learned that painful lesson. I had expanded and I had closed off and I thought, oh, I'm perfectly safe, no problem. And then this giant pirate galleon starts destroying stuff like in the back part of my empire, and I'm like, what? It was an interesting learning experience.
It throws you off, you don't expect that kind of stuff. And then
I highly doubt it was a galleon, because, I mean, how would it function?
It was, though.
Yeah, galleon is the pirate titan.
3-masted, 100-gun?
No, but it was like 5,000 military power single ship. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It was a sight to see.
Guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the old version of Stellaris, you'd start by surveying your home system, wouldn't you?
That's auto-surveyed.
Yes, it's all surveyed now.
Yeah. I was wondering that. I was like, why can't I survey all this? And I can already see all the resources everything has.
And you've got stations already built.
Yeah,
you should have started with at least one or two stations, which makes sense because if you hit the ability, if you're a civilized race and you hit the ability to travel at the speed of light, then hopefully by then
you'd actually have a starport, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you've fairly certain we're traveling faster than the speed of light at this point.
I think so. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely a lot faster in terms of. But we won't have to.
Unless we're playing as the Hivers from Sword of the Stars.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yay, another one. Someone else.
Yeah, you guys, I obviously do whatever your plan is, but one of the things I found very useful is that since there's an open module slot on your initial starport, I go ahead and grab a trading hub for +4 energy credits.
That's a very good call. I do that every single time.
Yeah, that is a pretty good idea. One thing that I did, because I actually am playing a race that's supposed to grow very quickly and pop, and what I found out when I did the practice game was that food became a very big issue for me very quickly, and so sometimes I was dismantling the crew quarters because I'm not too worried so much. Yeah, and put the farm in its place because I'm not too worried about the minus 25% dock ship just yet.
That's a great call. I mean, who cares? They don't have any fleets, really.
Yeah, and that's if you're going to be playing a race that grows very quickly because it's a little bit tougher to get food. It seems a little bit trickier to settle planets too. It's not as quick, at least, as it was.
Oh yeah, it's much slower. That's why the settlement time tech is a big deal now.
Yeah.
I think there's also a what is it? A tradition that gives you that. I think it's the expansion one. Gives you adoption cost plus 100% to colony development speed.
That's another big. Yeah, that's a good point, Roach. That's another thing that Bruno and I and Sebouts were talking about the other day was that it kind of makes more sense in 2.0 not to necessarily deep dive down one tree anymore, because there are some really, like, Harmony, Discovery, Prosperity, and Expansion all have really good openers. So instead of in the past, like, saying, oh, I'm going to double down on, like, Domination, I'm going to go all the way down the tree to get an Ascension perk, you're kind of better served by spreading it around when you start off.
You know what I found interesting too is, like, originally we had all kind of joked because the Discovery was kind of useless because you could have almost practically half. By the time you got your first Ascension perk, you could actually almost have, or your first actual pick with the Unity, you could have a lot of the galaxy explored because you have Corvettes going everywhere, and it just never seemed practical to take Discovery. But
yeah,
now
I'm
I find
actually
that
I'm trying to decide right. It's funny you should mention that. I'm trying to decide right now between Discovery and Harmony as the first pick. I think I'm gonna go Harmony.
I picked Discovery.
As you said that, I just picked Discovery somehow.
I'm gonna take Harmony because I want the 25% growth.
And that anomaly discovery chance plus 15% is amazing.
Yep. Yeah, I took Discovery too.
Discovery and Harmony are the best ones.
You bastards convinced me. Fine.
No, Mal. Discovery and Harmony are the best ones. They are equally good. Depending if you want to build tall or if you want to build wide. That's the choice. If you want to keep in your corner of the galaxy, Harmony is better. If you want to expand, Discovery is better.
Funnily enough, they've actually, in my opinion, they've also nerfed one of the other ones that I always took, which was Supremacy. Supremacy had the best adoption perk by just plus 25% borders immediately. You just that's amazing. But now it gives you starbase capacity, but that's not really a big deal in the early game.
Yep.
So it's kind of at this point not really that useful. So it's better to go for the non-killy traditions. So
the whole hyperlanes thing, remember I said we were talking about do we want 0.75 or 0.5? I just ran into the example of what I was talking about. I've got a 500 military power alien force that's keeping me from even exploring anything else right now.
Ooh.
Yeah. Is that a space amoeba? Because those move now.
I don't know what it was, honestly. I didn't stay long.
What was the fleet power?
It's 532.
532?
That's probably amoeba.
It'll probably move.
Yeah,
I mean, it's fine.
In my personal game, I was boxed in on 3 sides with those, but by the time I got my fleet to there, they were gone. Then they had been moved to a slightly south of me. So they just kind of jump around.
Anybody got a colony ship out yet?
No, because I'm playing Gaia Planet, so I will be having one planet most of the time. Yeah, super tall. As I said, I want to see if it's viable.
I debated going for the apocalyptic one because I like I don't know, I like the flavor of it.
I went for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both are
awesome. You started on a Tomb World? That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dog people, they nuke themselves.
Oops.
Let's be honest, fox people. They're fox-eared.
Dogs.
Let's not.
I know they didn't really have a dog-looking kind of. I was looking for Doberman-looking kind of alien race.
They should, they should have like a whole species of dogs. I'd play.
That's in a DLC.
Play that. Yeah.
Chinchilla Terrier. Just keep going.
Man, space best friends.
Attack of the Chihuahuas story pack. Man's best friend.
Or greatest enemy. That's gonna be a trailer.
That's what I'm going with. You never know. They look cute on the outside.
I'd pay for that movie.
Well, okay, guys, but believe it or not, we're actually at time. So, any closing thoughts on our first episode? I'm excited about this. I'm not excited about this being blocked off over here, but I'm excited about this.
I'm terrified because I get the impression that I'm completely on my own. Because you guys seem to be primarily on the west-hand side with, was it you, Roach, down kind of southwest, I think?
Up. No, I'm in northwest.
Who was southwest?
Galactic? There's no cardinal directions in space.
Well, I mean, judging by the galaxy map, with north being up.
Yeah, I'm on the bottom south.
We're gonna meta it, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, so it's you, Vanguard.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like the other end of the galaxy from Vanguard, with everybody else being kind of primarily west. So I'm a bit worried.
No, I'm near you. I'm
it's
east.
okay, Mickey. Don't worry.
I'm southeast.
I know, but I'm north.
Yeah, but I'm in like right up against the edge. If you're right up against the edge, I'm also right up against the edge.
That's
so clearly,
I don't know, like 40 jumps away, maybe more.
So clearly, navigation is our expertise, is what
yeah.
Yeah. we understand mapping very well. We're on it.
Are we even on the same mapping?
Mickey's playing an entirely different game. We're gonna go join him later.
Sometimes I get lost on my own home. I have to call my wife. Wife, help! I'm lost. I don't know my home requisites.
Honey, that's just the fridge.
Yeah, point me to the fridge and I'm fine. Okay, so
we're looking to end this episode now. We've gone a bit over time with the introduction, being as it is, being to explain everything, go in detail about how. I mean, just look at the map. It's an example. So yeah, we will, I guess, see you guys next time. God, I'm really terrified for this. I don't know how this is going to turn out.
Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this first episode. You join us for more. Till next time, I'm Mal for Mickey, Sabouts, Vanguard, and Roach. There we go. All right. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
See you guys. Bye.